did nobody bring this up yesterday?
I was just watching the Pete stuff.
It was very mean.
All this drama, all these months, and this beef all started over a clogged toilet.
Let's see if he actually left the. Oh yeah. Oh wow.
God.
So?
Yes. By the way, that wasn't even a clogged toilet.
Oh my god.
What was supposed to
That was the paint being ripped off it. Just so everyone knows.
be the AMP or sidemen of the Fortnite community turned into a nightmare for everyone involved. Loads of betrayal, negotiating behind others' backs, and straight Bucke style snaking, but IRL instead on Fortnite. Within a span of a few months, Agent went from becoming the next FaZe clan to falling completely apart. All the progress Rad made was just gone. And if it couldn't get worse, EXD's house that they bought out from Agent became a war zone, filled with arguments starting between everyone involved. Friendships were completely shattered over money.
Every single time he would go out the room, he would say, "You pie, you're broke, I'll buy you."
Egos clashed.
Just the global's ego. He's Jesus, you know.
And people were even stealing each other's girlfriends.
I fuck you, monster!
Like my ex, bro.
You could really say the house had a whole lot of loot but no shields in their relationships. Nobody has really looked into what happened to the Esports World Cup champions. But the amount of drama that took place behind the scenes was huge. Beef with Peterbot, Rad, Bucky, and practically everyone involved. Now to fully understand what happened to EXD Peterbot, we need to go back to the start of it all. Early 2024, a new org came onto the Fortnite scene called Agent, run by Rad. Typically, Fortnite orgs that come out of nowhere sign a few players and just vanish naturally by realizing they actually don't know how to run an org. Some realize that these Fortnite pros' egos are bigger than most NFL or NBA players too. And honestly, this is pretty true to an extent. These kids grow up with millions of impressions weekly and entire fandoms worshiping them. For example, Peterbot has his own fan page from this guy on X named Stack. So when you're 17 and already more famous than over 99% of your peers, it's honestly not hard to move around like you're LeBron. But see, Rad wanted to build the best team in Fortnite, and from the ground up, which is a pretty hard task at hand. He quickly got on the wave and signed players like Cold, one of the best in NA. Peterbot was just fresh off some FNCS wins.
What is this? Take off the Peterbot!
And Bucky. He also signed Scented, a Fortnite OG, and even Okus, one of the best controller players on the scene. And by February of 2024, Agent was stacked. Rad even moved them all into a zero ping mansion where Scented and Rad were vlogging religiously. Bucky was streaming and enjoyed his life in his own ways while stacking bread on top of bread. And Peterbot was doing—
Oh, I didn't stack any bread, first of all. I invested every single dime I made back into the org and back into content.
Peterbot thinks, what else is new? There's not much to say.
Don't even say that.
I smell like shit right now. I look like shit. I haven't showered today all my life.
I like winning this org.
I don't give a shit, bro. I'm gonna win by 250 points. I won by like 440, bro.
Rad was hoping to foster a family-like environment and wanted to continue to pump viral content out every single chance he got. And to be fair, he actually kinda did that. For a moment, not only did it look like a paradise for content, but everyone was playing the best comp-wise as well, especially Peterbot. But how something seems to look from the outside is not always how it looks internally. See, everyone knows that running an org is not cheap whatsoever, and there were statements from some people in the house that Rad's finances were pretty shaky from day one, even though they were sponsored by an NFL player, Dexter Lawrence. And according to some players, his finances were so bad, he didn't even pay them what he owed them in his contracts.
He was in debt. Way too much money. That's all I should be focused on, right? I shouldn't have to be worried about paying for a fucking house. I shouldn't have to be worried about being on the lease of a house. I shouldn't be worried about taking care of a house. I shouldn't have to be worried about taking care of an organization. I shouldn't have to be worried about putting money up for a house, putting money up for an organization. That's not the type of stuff that I should be worried about, bro.
The guys in that house just covered some of the costs and the house cost in the hopes he'd figure it out with this content stuff. So in simple terms for you Fortnite kids, players were not getting paid at all. Rad was footing bills with money he just didn't have, and he was rapidly burning through his savings. So now the pressure was on. Sponsors weren't materializing, content wasn't bringing enough cash flow, and the team's trust in Rad was diminishing by the minute. So by mid-2024, all of the issues exploded at the exact same time.
$37,000 each for attending the ESL tourney. Rad ruined our chance of getting $37,000 each just because he wanted to screw us over.
Yeah, bro, I'm not gonna cap to the problem with Rad 2 is like, yeah, I know, Derek. Bro, the problem with Rad 2, okay, Rad wouldn't take org deals to put money in our pockets unless he got money too. And that was like a big thing too, is like, if there was like a deal or something we were working out and all the money would go to us, he wouldn't do it unless he got it cut, bro. That's why like the whole Rainbet deal, like the original Rainbet deal fell through. It's because like we couldn't work anything else. First of all, the Rainbet deal was fucked from the start. I'm not gonna lie. That like a lot of it was Rainbet's fault. Some of it was Rad's fault. But then when we finally worked something out where it was like the money would just go in our pocket, he was like, he wanted like at least some money. And I was like, bro, just at some point we're paying for the house. Just like take a cut where you're not gonna like just take a what would be the word called? Just like take the loss that you're not going to make money off the sponsorship, but you're building an org. You know what I mean? Like we're paying for the house. Let us make our money.
Made no, Agent was on the brink of extinction. So sensing this instability, a new South African org that has, funny enough, also shut down now, stepped in and bought out Agent completely. Exceed offered Agent's players a way out, better support, the same mansion with it all covered, and real salaries. So after being faced with broken promise after broken promise from Rad,
I got paid 2 house payments. I think Peterbot got paid like 3 salaries, and then they disappeared.
Players got a lifeline from Exceed that they all took instantly. On July 26th, 5 of Agent's top players, Bucky, Peterbot, Scented, Ocus, and Quanti, jumped ship all the way over to Exceed. The craziest part of all this was that they kicked Rad out of the house, effectively ending Rad's entire dream overnight. For Rad, this was the
this is where I'm gonna the whole Rad thing with being in the house and or stuff like that, a big portion of why I made the decisions was because of like, one, we already weren't getting sponsors were fucking all that stuff. Rad streaming with all these girls and stuff like that, him slipping up and saying that word on stream, all that stuff, like there was so many stuff that we're doing that like as an org owner you can't do if we want to ever be successful. Like you're not gonna see like those bigger orgs, like the CEO of the org, like out there like streaming and stuff like that with like girls and doing girl content and drinking on stream and all that stuff. Like what word? Well, if you know, blah blah. You know what I mean? But there's just like it's too much of a risk for your CEO to be doing that. It's one slip up. It's one, you know what I mean? Like, dude, we were getting the house called for like fucking having, I'm not gonna say, you know what I mean, but he was having like some girls over that probably shouldn't be over and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And it was too big of a risk that would like your CEO of your or can't do. We're like, even if we do grow it to the biggest thing ever, it's over. You grow it to the biggest thing ever, like it was just like underage. I'm not saying anything, you know what I mean? But there was just dumb shit going on in the house, you know what I mean? I'm not saying he wasn't doing anything with underage girls, but it'd be like you invite over like an 18-year-old girl or a 19-year-old girl, and then she brings a friend ends up being 17. That's a big risk right there, bro. You know what I mean? That's a big risk. Just having a 17-year-old at the house, you know what I mean? Not that like he's doing anything with them, you know what I mean? But there's just risk involved. With like a 17-year-old, their parents get involved, all that stuff, you know what I mean? You're the CEO of the org. Like, there's like, you know what I mean? Daily part, no, y'all are taking it the wrong way. You guys understand, you know what I mean? Like, anyone who's like been that like scene with like, you know, you guys have had girls over, you know what I mean? There's a lot of times you're hanging out with a girl, you're talking to this girl, blah, blah. She's 18, 19 years old, freshman in college, blah, blah. She has a friend that's a senior in college, you know what I mean? She invites over her friend who ends up somehow being 17. You don't know how fucking old she is. She's just bringing her friend over, you know what I mean? And then like, you know what I mean? Everyone's taking this like way the wrong way. I'm not saying Rad was doing any of that stuff. I'm just saying the risk liability was very hard for your CEO. Like for your CEO to be doing that, you know what I mean? And I already fucked up way too many times in my life, so I was like trying to go, you know, different route type shit.
Betrayal. The guys he lived with, grinded with, and envisioned his future with basically just said, screw you, you are kicked out of the house.
Exactly. It's not, I don't think like no one was doing anything. Rad wasn't doing anything bad. It's literally just, it's just risk, you know what I mean?
And we're kicking Agent in the dirt with you. Rad later said he poured everything into the team only to see them do this to him. And later, he also admitted he understand why they left, but it hurts, and he wished things went differently. But from the players' perspective, they believe Rad had betrayed them first by failing to pay them a dime and holding up his end of the deal. They stuck with it for a few months, hoping he...
All right, that's false right there. Not pay us a dime is false. Rad did try to cover some house payments. He just wasn't able to because I don't know where the money went. It just disappeared. I know Peterbot got all of his salary payments. I know Peterbot got fully paid out. I got 2 salary payments, and so I ended up making the decision not to take salary, to invest it back into the org. And then no one else was on salary. It was just kind of like me and Pete. And then Senna was getting salary up until he decided to reinvest back in the org too. Like, that's full. We did get payments up until he ran out of money because he was spending money on designer clothes.
Come through. Instead, they watched their bills pile up with no way out. Not even a launch pad could get him out of this one, realistically.
What is this guy saying?
Was a sinking ship after months of instability. So who wouldn't try to jump ship?
Reinvest in org? Why would you do that? Because I really believed in Agent, bro. I really believed in the group we had, bro. And I still think if I could redo it, bro, and have a different, like, not that nothing against Rad, if I could redo it and own the org myself, I think it would have been like successful, bro. If we had someone who wasn't selfish as the owner, bro, or just like really like didn't care to make money in the moment and wanted to build a, you know, empire, bro, I think it would have been great.
Try to find a more stable future.
Look who we had, bro. We had such a good group.
The collapse of Agent turned into open warfare online. Rad was scrambling to save his face and brand by putting out a YouTube video titled Let's Talk, featuring himself, Bucky, and Scented sitting down together. On camera, they kept things pretty civil and tried to explain everything to the fans. Rad apologized for the mistakes he made and took blame for being over his head. Bucky and Scented, who were officially Exceed players, chose their words carefully. It was like divorced parents breaking the news to their kids, maintaining a tense but polite vibe throughout the video. But when the cameras stopped rolling, honesty really came out.
Whatever streams I did in Mexico, bro, I don't remember. I don't know what the I said. I don't know. Was it bad? What did I say, bro?
On his Twitch stream, Bucky didn't hold back at all. Rad owed them tens of thousands of dollars to them. And not to mention how they were being played on string like puppets by Rad. In one of Bucky's most heated streams, Bucky went even as far to say that Rad was acting like the victim now, but he literally scammed them all. Bucky and Scented covered for him and still made minimal effort to fix anything.
But yeah, Scented was already on the org and, you know, kind of re-signed him. He didn't really re-sign, but he was gonna stay. But yeah.
In the house. He didn't want Otis in the house. Wait, what is he saying? He was gonna re-sign. No, Scented was gonna re-sign. He tried to cut him. Yeah, that's what I hated too. What I hated was him taking what's that called? Not accountability. Him taking credit for like the decisions made on the org, bro. Like, dude, if I'm telling you right now, if this man ran the org, bro, I don't think people realize how shit it would have been, bro. I don't even think you realize the decisions that were gonna be made, bro. Like, he didn't even want Peterbot. Like, I was the one who had to like push for Peter. I had to push for Peter. I was pushed for Peter. I pushed to keep sending. I pushed for Pilat and everything like that, bro. I pushed for everything, bro. Like, the signings that he was talking about, like, were miserable, bro. And I was the one who said Scented is a great addition to the house. He tried to cut him.
And later, in a Bucky and Scented stream, they mentioned that the What Actually Happened to Agent video was a public sob story that Rad put out in hopes to save his reputation. He tried to portray himself as a guy who was trying to build something great, bro? But got in over
anyone he would talk about signing, bro, I couldn't even, like, I don't, just drones, bro. Like, he was still on this whole thing of, like, comp players, bro. Like, someone like fucking, like, what's this called? Like, dude, he wanted Polo for a while, and I'm like, I don't know, bro. There was just shit I was hearing, bro. I was just like, bro, I couldn't even listen to it, bro. Some of it, bro. Cause I'm like, bro, that's good. Yeah, that's great, man. I just like, bro. There's just people like, I don't know, bro. Like, dude, Polo's contract alone would have cost more than Pilot, me, Sentin, Otis, and Webster combined. The whole house would have costed Polo. And for what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I like, if I'm an org owner, honest to God, I'm being so sorry. If I'm an org owner, bro, I'm paying, like, I am looking at Hyatt as more valuable than almost any comp player. I'm looking at all these comp players are worth nothing at the end of the day, bro. The whole signing comp players things, it needs to die. It really does. Unless you're Peterbot, you're useless. Peterbot is the only comp player worth money. Literally, Peterbot. I think Acorn's worth a little bit. Polo's obviously worth a little bit. You know what I mean? I think Kanata's worth a lot. There's comp players that are. There's comp players that aren't. You know what I mean? Yamzo Higgs and up there. Clicks is not a comp player. Clicks is a big name, man. Clicks is, don't ever say Clicks like comp player, dude. I'm saying the comp players that don't do content. You know what I mean? There's very few that are worth. Cold in my eye. If I had money to sign a player, I would not pay Cold more than $1,000 a month. No way. No plan. I couldn't even imagine asking Cole to like make a tweet. Bro, I ain't fucking doing that. Fuck am I doing, bro? Like, you know what I mean? It's like Muzz maybe might be okay if he wants to do content, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, the signing comp players needs to die. It needs to be done. It's insane. Most of these orgs, I'm being so serious. Most of these orgs are going bankrupt because of signing too many comp players. That's the whole fucking problem. The orgs suck and the orgs are going bankrupt because we're signing comp players, bro. Stop the fucking comp player signings and build orgs, bro. Like, let's actually build orgs. The fact that there's one fucking FaZe clan is sad. The fact that we have one group to come out of Fortnite and it's FaZe is fucking sad. Because we're just sitting here signing consistent fucking comp players that do fucking nothing, bro. Like, oh my god, I hate seeing it, bro.
In his eyes, the players betrayed him. In the players' eyes, Rad was scamming them all. But who knows who was really right? But as stuff unraveled, looks like Rad may have actually just been playing victim. He lost the very mansion that was the agent house. An agent was left as an org with nobody, essentially, unless you count Rad. So as anyone do, Rad uploaded another video titled "Agent Isn't Over," or is it? He tried sparking a comeback, and truthfully, the aura, as some would say, was gone.
No, Clicks has made most correct signings. Clicks has made most correct signings. Honest to God, I think Clicks made almost every right signing. There's just like a few that I would change. I'm sure you guys know who I would change, bro. Like if Xset did it a tiny bit more to the point of quality over quantity, and you really had that core group of like, these are FaZe. You need three FaZe people and stuff like that. Like, it's beautiful. You know what I mean? But like, you have too many that kind of makes the org look like it's not. How do I explain it? You know what I mean? Like, it's not like that much. It's not like being on FaZe right now is crazy because they really only sign like, you got to be that guy to really be on FaZe. You know what I mean? But then when you have like, you got like those e-girls that you threw in there, like some of them, like, you know, like the whole fucking team that they signed with the fucking ESL and shit like that, bro. Like, I really think the whole org should be around Baxley and Click. Like, Baxley and Click are the two greatest FaZe on the entire planet. They could carry the org by themselves, you know what I mean? I don't think Fran is that bad of a... Bro, we had Fran for a while with Agent, bro, and I wanted to keep Fran for a while. I think Fran is a really good addition if she fucking cared a little bit more. I think Frantic has more potential than what she realizes, bro, and I respect the Fran sign. The Daya and Regs, though, bro, or whoever else they have, or whatever the fuck it is, I don't even know who it is, bro. But, like, that's got to go. Higgs, great. Higgs is fucking great. Like, if they built the whole org around Higgs, Fax, and Clicks, which they have done, and then you actually do content, like great content around that group, bro, X's like by far doing it the smartest.
It's now tarnished with the legacy of drama, scamming, and failure. But
no, Clicks, bro, Clicks has got Vino. Vino's good, you know what I mean? But like, Clicks has got the same brain with me with signing, bro. Like, he knows what he's doing with an org, you know what I mean? He knows how to build an org.
Let's talk about the beef that was happening in the house after everyone left for Exceed.
There's just a couple things I would change.
Like everyone had
who am I to talk? I'm a failed org.
Stable pay, and the keys to a multi-million-dollar mansion in Texas.
Top shit.
What was supposed to be a fresh start with no scamming or money problems turned into a nightmare pretty fast. Well, what could go wrong, right? Well, plenty as it turns out. The house dynamics soured fast. Peterbot, the recently turned 18-year-old prodigy, was not exactly an ideal roommate.
All right, son.
Soon after moving in, complaints started flying out from everyone about Peter's hygiene and habits. Bucky and
this is literally just no one even talking about hygiene, bro. Peter was not a fucking dirty kid, bro. I hate how they fucking try to like tarnish that, bro. No one even talked about hygiene, but the whole fucking toilet thing is like a troll, bro. Like, hygiene, the dude actually did not smell bad at all, bro. People are fucking retarded.
To do basic chores, left trash and food everywhere, and even messed with the thermostat settings, constantly making it hot.
The thermostat was the only thing fucking annoying. The thermostat was bad.
He was controlling, he was so controlling on the AC. We had to fucking try to work with him on that. So weird about the whole AC thing. Every single time he would go out the room, he would say, "Fuck you, pilot.
Fuck you, pilot.
I'll buy you." The shit that he would say to Okios was insane.
My hands are freezing. I turn the AC off, and then someone just turns it right back on, bro. It's just like Bucky and Pilar are just so old, so they sweat 50 times more than I do.
And
no, bro, you're just 85 fucking pounds. You're fucking like literally shivering away. Your bones are breaking. I'm not old. That's just normal, dude.
They live in Texas.
Why am I getting
It's
cooked?
not exactly cold there. It's one of the most humid places in the U.S.
Damn.
Tensions that had been directed at Rad now shifted towards how Exceed's dream house
old as
was
fuck.
now
No,
turning
I'm
into a
not.
frat house. Plus Peter. One day on stream, Bucky let loose about Peterbot's behavior.
And talk it out with him. It's not that serious. That was the whole problem. Is I could not talk to him.
I literally couldn't talk to him.
He ghosted me, every single roommate. He muted our group chat. He wasn't talking to anyone. No one could talk to him.
That's when he dropped the now infamous line about the clogged toilet. He said, "I'm not his dad. I shouldn't have to clean up after Peter." He painted a picture of Peter as an entitled kid with zero life skills who thought being a Fortnite pro excused him from basic adulthood. Pretty harsh words to say to a kid that was living by himself for the first time at just 17. The EXP house was nasty, and he blamed Peter for this. They even leaked pictures of his bedroom online. But nobody brings up Peter's stuff.
Dude,
He was
that
in a
was
house
a
where
troll.
all everyone
That was
did
from the old
drink,
house.
smoke, and party. The house slowly started to stop feeling like a pro Fortnite house or content house, and more like a
so tan, I
weekend
just got back from
frat
my
pre-game spot. The late night parties were practically routine now. Music blasted through walls, and random people, sometimes other pros in the scene, would show up unannounced to party. There were even rumors of fights breaking out over small things like stolen food. Some of the players even stopped scrimming and practicing because they were so busy recovering from hangovers or just not home at all from time to time.
Dude, he felt like a little brother.
What are we saying, bro? What? I've never even been to a party. What are we saying? That's a lie. Is he wrong? Yes.
Until I had Huz over and he put the AC on 900 degrees.
People would be stumbling out of bed at 4 a.m., loud noise all night sometimes, and the list goes on and on. Peter wasn't just dealing with dirty looks, but living in chaos essentially. And while it was never confirmed on camera, multiple pros hinted that some of the players used the house as a way to host free parties and social gatherings, involving things we would rather not say. To be fair, you need to see both sides
What
of
is
it.
involving
Everyone was
things
doing
mean?
something wrong, but nobody wanted to admit what they were doing was actually wrong. Anyways,
What is-
Peter, after hearing Bucky airing out his dirty laundry, literally to thousands online, was pissed. He jumped on the stream and gave his side of the story. He mentioned things like how they turned on him unfairly. They claimed he was being ganged up on and how they were exaggerating everything to make him look bad. And although he admitted he wasn't the neatest person, he felt airing him out like that online didn't really fit for what was actually happening. The
I feel
drama
like I
hit a
didn't even
real
air him
boiling
out.
point later on.
I didn't even say anything bad. I just said the AC pissed me off and he ghosted everyone. That's not even that bad. That got made look worse than what it is. This guy framed it, bro.
When Peter was asked to leave the Exceed house, he had gotten kicked out just months after they all moved in together. The crazy part is the amount of videos and vlogs everyone put out in the house whenever he won FNCS and tournaments, essentially gaining views and money off of his name. They had him in...
All right, this dude's making it look really bad, bro. That's okay. That dude's making it look really bad, bro. Okay. We might made a money off his name. Okay, cool. Made money off his name. I paid $40,000 fucking dollars to get out of the old house so that he could be on zero paying. I paid $40,000 to get him on zero paying. He didn't have to pay rent. I was basically covering all of his rent, taking salary out of my salary. I wasn't taking any salary. I paid $20,000 a fucking month to pay the house, bro. Like, even if I did make money off him, dude, I put over 6 figures into the house and him. And he was the only one getting paid from Rad. He was the only one who actually ended up getting paid from Rad and Exceed. So the dude fucking made his money, bro. I'll tell you that. And the only thing at the end, bro, you guys got to see where I'm coming from, bro. I love Pete. I will always love Pete. Like one of my, greatest friends, like ever, bro. I've worked with him for a long time, bro. With the trio a long time ago, bro. At the end of the day, bro, I paid over 6 figures into the house, bro. And I just I loved him, bro. But I just couldn't keep paying his rent, and he wouldn't live with us unless we were paying his rent. And I was like, bro, no matter who you are, bro, at the end of the day, bro, I just can't pay your rent. It's too expensive, bro. I'm paying $20,000 a month, bro. So I was like, bro, I'm just gonna get someone else in the house that's gonna take advantage of the opportunity, like DP, and then he DP paid rent and take advantage of the opportunity, blah blah. That's what that's made seem wrong. That's made me seem like that. I'll take my blame though. I was awful during this time period. I can see him not wanting to live in the house. See it completely, bro. I was going through a really bad area of my life, bro. I was doing a lot of what I mean. I was not in a good place at all, bro. I don't even remember most nights. Watching this video is insane because I don't even remember most these night streams, anything, bro. I was just going through months of my life, bro. It was actually bad.
Your vlog and included him in activities And who all knows
I
the real
definitely
reason
fucked
why.
up a
But
lot.
one can infer that they knew including him inside of videos meant gaining more views, treating him like a child instead of a teammate. Yes, he admitted he wasn't the
that's
neatest
insane.
person, but he felt the punishment didn't fit the crime. And instead of talking it over and squashing the beef, the drama hit a boiling point when everyone in the Exceed house asked Peter to leave. And it wasn't so much like, bro, can you find a new crib? It was more of a, bro, find a new crib, you're kicked out. So just months after they had all moved in together, they already kicked out one member. First it was Rad for obvious reasons, now it was Peter for apparently not being a good roommate. How does a Fortnite champion end up getting evicted from his own org's team house? The answer will depend on who you ask. Bucky and the rest of the guys will say Peter brought it on himself with his behavior.
No, at the end of the day, bro, I love Pete. He's my best friend. Dude, am I gonna pay for a friend? Like, as much as I love Pete, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna pay him to live with me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even if I did pay him to live with me, bro, I don't want to ride off of Pete for my whole life. Like, dude, I want to do my own. Like, at the end of the day, bro, I want to have my own career. I want to like build my own stuff, bro. I don't want to just pay someone to live with me. You know what I mean? And like ride off his. Like, yeah, I could have tried to ride off Pete for the rest of my career. Why would I want to do that, bro? I want to do my own thing. You know what I mean?
Say his teammates betrayed him and
That's all
drove
it
him
is,
out
bro.
over minor issues. And it's worth noting the final decision wasn't purely internal. Apparently Peter's own parents had gotten involved as well. So yeah, that's right. Peter's mom apparently complained about the house's environment as well as when she came in person to drive Peter home. So it's wild to look at how Bucky's version of the story made Peter out to be a bad roommate and dirty, while Peter's mom thought her son was being mistreated, and Bucky didn't have any regrets saying anything on stream. He was just laughing.
Bro, like, they're just being weird to my parents every single stream. They're just talking about my parents. Like, what?
Wait, dude, I was threatened with lawyers, bro. That was crazy.
Who talks about other people's parents? Like, what? That's just weird.
What did I say about his parents?
How did the shit get in my...
I've never said anything about his parents. Unless I was severely under the influence. The only thing I ever said was his manager, bro. I've never even talked to his parents. I don't think I said anything about his parents.
I told you that after I
like
leave.
his bro.
They were friendly when
I
they
just knew. I just knew his parents didn't like me. That's all I said. I was like, his parents hate me. Yeah.
Up to leave agent, but now Bucky was just quick to throw Peter under the bus just like he did with Rad. Now take that as you interpret it, but there's definitely a common denominator in both issues here if you ask me. The Peterbot and Bucky beef was spilling on the X, Reddit, and overall everywhere.
Oh yeah, I just said his parents didn't clean.
There were some pros that claimed they saw this coming given
that.
Peter's young age. But others criticized Bucky for not mentoring the 17-year-old kid rather than just making the beef public. So Bucky and Peter went from kicking Rad out and getting a new org to sponsor their house to now beefing because they hated each other at the house now. But Peter's
I like that. That's the 2-1, bro. I appreciate that.
Right now, he's actually living with Pollo. Ironically, they're both fighting it out off spawn right now and living in the same house. But it's good for them for not making it personal IRL and keeping the video game beef inside the video game. That's not something easy to do.
But say I didn't mentor him, bro. I did everything in my world to make sure that this kid could just sit there and play Fortnite, bro. Like, not mentoring him. Bro, I brought him to his first party, bro. I got Peterbot pussy for the first time. Not mentoring.
To give flowers.
I'm a great fucking role model.
Peter where it's due. Now, if you think
I'm trolling,
Peter
obviously. I'm trolling, obviously. I've never brought him to a party.
Here's another insane thing you would never think of. I'll let you guess by giving you 3 hints. It involved Bucky and his girlfriend and Pilot. It involves some cheating, and I'm not talking about cheating using ChatGPT to write your essay. Okay,
wait, this guy's actually lying about everything. See, I wouldn't even mind. This guy's actually just lying. Girlfriend, I never even dated the girl. Cheating. I had a whole girlfriend at the time when this ex did that, if you want to consider an ex.
It made it pretty easy to guess, but Bucky's old girlfriend essentially cheated on Bucky for Pilot. And the craziest part of this all was that Bucky and Pilot are literally brothers. And as a brother,
what the fuck? Yo, he's making everyone seem bad. Okay, first of all, what Pilot did was super wrong. Don't get me wrong. Pilot never had sex with my ex though, and yeah, like Emily never cheated on me, bro. Like this is after this is like way past me and her stop like hooking up. And Pilot is not my brother. This guy's actually lying, bro.
Brother, you trust your brother and not expect him to go behind your back and do something weird. Well, it turns out Pilot was getting overly friendly with Bucky's girlfriend at the time, and this was the same girl that Bucky had dated previously, and their breakup was fresh. And by all accounts, Bucky was still hurt over this. And now his roommate, one of his boys, and most importantly his brother, was hooking up with her. When Bucky found out, he quite literally exploded. On stream, Bucky was just pacing back and forth in his room like a caged tiger, with his hands on his hair just losing it. He even said the most heartbreak thing I might have ever heard. I put a roof over your head and you snaked me like this. In that moment, Bucky was no longer a 19-year-old Fortnite streamer, but a frustrated 19-year-old kid that felt like he'd been stabbed.
wish I was 19, bruh.
Stabbed in his heart by his brother and friend. In a video put online, Bucky fans saw a side of him not many fans have ever seen. Tears of rage and heartbreak with anger flowing out of him like never before. He cursed Pilat on stream and even said, quote unquote, "You're actually dead to me, Pilat. Don't ever speak to me again." Nice. Not what you want to hear from your own brother after messing up. For a third time in recent memory, Bucky had lost someone close to him again. And by this time, it felt like the ultimate personal betrayal. The ripple effects were immediate within the Exceed house. Trust was lost between almost everyone that remained. If there were any thoughts of letting Peter come back to the house, it was gone by now. The atmosphere was toxic, so Pilat packed his things and left in disgrace. Some say he was kicked out by Exceed's management, while others says he left to avoid further conflict. Bucky took a short hiatus from streaming after this incident as well. The emotional toll on him was heavy. So now Peterbot is doing Peterbot things, just grinding and winning FNCSs, and he's even matured, recently saying this about clicks.
Bro, he deserves to win an FNCS at some point. It doesn't matter. Like, everyone deserves their moment. Kanata took Kanata 30 FNCSs to win one, bro.
Yo.
Bro, that's
Yeah, Exceed didn't even exist at this time.
bro. No,
why did we
bro,
just catch
everyone
a
has their
stream?
moment, bro.
Nah,
like,
you're right.
It only
Yeah,
took
Luga.
8 years
Luga had his.
Namzo and Grimp to fucking win an
I
FNCS.
had more than a moment, brother.
Yeah.
Don't even
Clicks
say
is
that,
looking
facts.
fucking primed, bro. Like, that's all there is to it. He's primed. Their whole trio's primed. All of us are conned. Like, bro, like, that's just how Fortnite is. That's why random people win FNCSs sometimes, because people are conned. People are primed. Like, that's how the game works, bro.
Bucky is back playing Fortnite as usual, playing with Okus and other upcoming pros. He's still a fan favorite streamer and doing well from his end on Twitch. Rad tried streaming again and rebuilt Agent as an IRL or trying to become a sideman or phase in terms of IRL content. He doesn't really do gaming stuff anymore, but he seems to be doing well, so good for him. Scented has now put himself into the crypto and Web3 space, a move that isn't too surprising as Fortnite pros that have retired often follow the same path. Instead of grinding Fortnite leaderboards, he's grinding the crypto market leaderboards instead, and Pilat is doing Pilat things. He's streaming and making content again. And Exceed, most importantly, is gone. Nobody is in the org, and after winning FNCS Globals, they just started.
This might be